Okay, so here we have an order and they gave us a label to base our answers off of. So we need to give this dexamethasone 500 micrograms by mouth 2 times a day. And they gave us a Decadron label, but we see that dexamethasone is the name as well. So part A wants to know what is the trade name. Okay, so there is a name difference. We saw that already. When you're looking at your label, the one that's big and bold, usually listed first, it has that little registered trademark symbol behind it. That is the trade name. Okay, this is the registered trademark. So that is the trade name. The one that's lowercase in parentheses, it's not as big and bold. That is the generic name. Okay, so part A, what is the trade name? We're going to get to answer that it is the Decadron. Decadron. What concentration is provided? That one goes back to the label. It's trying to figure out what is the concentration strength, how much medicine is in each one of those little tablets. And that's going to go back to our 0.25 milligrams that we're seeing there. Be sure that you don't just list it as 0.25 milligram. We do need to put that per tab in there because we are going to use that part whenever we do our dimensional analysis, trying to calculate how many tablets. So make sure you do have per tab in there. If you're just leaving it 0.25 milligrams, I'm not giving you full credit for it. How many tablets will you give? This one is our dimensional analysis. Okay, so first of all, we have to figure out what is our desired answer. Well, it's asking how many tablets. So let's let that be a tablet per dose. We've looked at, the frequency. We discussed that this one was a BID. They are going to get 2 doses a day, but when it's asking how many tablets you'll give, it wants to know per dose. Okay, so right here, right now, how much medicine is the nurse going to give right now? Okay, so it's always looking for a per dose calculation there. So tablet per dose. Now, tablet is our desired answer, so that needs to go at the top of our first fraction. And we're going to get that from the label. Okay, remember that 0.25 milligrams that we said we need to be sure and put the per tab with. Okay, so 1 tablet is 0.25 milligram. And that is coming from your label. Make sure that tab goes on top. That is our desired answer. Okay. So that put milligram at the bottom. We need milligram at the top. And usually when we're calculating these, how many tablets per dose, we're using our label and we're using our order. Okay. But our units don't match here. We've got a milligram on the label. We've got microgram in the order. So we have milligram at the bottom. I have to have milligram at the top. I can't jump to the microgram. So this is where we have to pull in a conversion factor. So our conversion between milligrams and micrograms, we need to use 1 milligram as 1,000 micrograms. Now that we have micrograms on the bottom, you can pull micrograms at the top. And that's coming from our order. We have that 500 micrograms. And that one is given it's given BID, but it's 500 micrograms per dose. Okay, so total for the 2 doses in a day would be 1,000 micrograms. But when they order that 500 micrograms, that is per dose. Okay, so 500 micrograms happens per dose. So let's check those units here. The milligrams are canceling, the micrograms are canceling. We have a tablet on top, we have dose on bottom, and that is what we were looking for here. So we know we've got the right setup. We can go ahead and multiply everything on the top, multiply everything on the bottom, and then divide, and we get our 2 tablets per dose. Now, I wrote these purple words under here to kind of help you map out where these things came from. I think it's helpful in your study guide to have that. You wouldn't have to put that on the test when I say show your work or anything, but I do think it's helpful whenever you're studying and for your notes to know where those things are coming from. It's more important that the units are matching up, but sometimes it helps to kind of know where to look whenever you get to looking for those next units. So I encourage you to use those purple words there as well. Okay, I've got another one I want to work, so if you need to pause this one, now's the time to do it. The next problem is an order for lanoxin, and we've got to give 0.25 milligrams by mouth daily. So part A wants to know what is the generic name. So looking at our tablets, you can see the L-lanoxin is that registered trademark, But if it's asking for the generic name, it wants to know the one in parentheses there, the digoxin. It didn't ask about that yellow circle, but we are gonna need that whenever we get to working on part B. How many tablets will you give? Okay. So, desired answer, we're trying to figure out how many tablets we're gonna give. Let's start with a tablet per dose. And in the yellow circle up there, you can see, I'm not gonna use that mu symbol. Okay, I'm gonna be using the one with the milligram, our metric units that we like. 0.125 milligrams. So you'll read above it, it says each scored tablet contains 0.125 milligrams. So that's a 0.125 milligram per tablet. And again, we need to put tablet on top because that is our desired answer. So one tab is going to give 0.125 milligrams of medication. And I'm getting that from the label. Now that put milligram at the bottom, so the next fraction needs milligram at the top. And on the last problem, remember we had to jump to a conversion, right? We had milligrams, the order was in micrograms, so we needed to do a conversion there. But looking at this problem, we have milligrams at the bottom, our order is in milligrams as well, so we do not have to do that conversion here. We can jump straight to the 0.25 milligrams per dose. That's coming from our order. Check those units. Milligrams cancel. You have tablet on top, dose on bottom. That's what we were after. So we're ready to do the math. So we've got some decimals to divide, and it should work out to be 2 tablets per dose. Okay, so again, the purple words under there are kind of telling you where things are coming from. But it's all about making sure those units cancel out and you're left with that desired answer there, that tablet per dose. Sometimes you'll need that conversion factor, sometimes you won't. It really depends on if these units are matching, the one from your order and the one from your label. If they're matching, you don't have to have that conversion, but if they're not, you just need to simply throw in a conversion factor and it'll be good to go.